Hello friends, once again welcome. Today we will discuss with fishery sardine, sardine fishery or sardinella oil sardine fishery. मित्रो, 2 दिवसापूर्वीच मी आपणाला व्हॉट्सॲप आणि गुगल क्लासरूमवर सार्डाईन फिशरीच्या नोट्स पाठवलेल्या आहेत. आणि आपण 2 दिवसापूर्वी जे व्हर्च्युअल मीटिंग घेतली होती गुगल मीटवर, त्यावर मी तुम्हाला सांगितलेलं होतं की आम्ही तुम्हाला नोट्स अगोदर देतो, नोट्स व्यवस्थित वाचत जावा आणि मग व्हिडिओ पाहत जा, म्हणजे तुम्हाला जास्त व्हिडिओ क्लिअर होईल. ऑनलाईन टीचिंग ही तुम्हाला आणि आम्हाला थोडी वेगळी असल्याने तुम्हाला जास्तीत जास्त आम्ही शिकवत असलेले समजावं या उद्देशानं आम्ही तुम्हाला नोट्स अगोदर पाठवत आहोत. नोट्स व्यवस्थित वाचून घ्या आणि नंतर व्हिडिओ पहा, म्हणून मुद्दाम 2 दिवसांनी तुम्हाला व्हिडिओ हा पाठवत आहे. Let us start sardine fishery. In previous fishery we have seen the mackerel fishery. This is the second fishery, sardine fishery. Sardine fishery, or it is also called Indian oil sardine. This fishery is represented by genus Sardinella and species Longicipus. It is also known by the name of Indian oil sardine. It is very economic important fishery because it contributes near about 1/3 of the total marine fisheries. Whatever the fishery comes from marine resources, in that this single fishery contributes 1/3 of the total fish productions in productive year. This fishery is not only used as a food, it also serves, or it's also provide a number of the byproducts. Besides that, one of the important byproduct that is sardine oil. The oil are 2 types. One is body oil and second is a liver oil. The oil which is extracted from the whole body, that is called the body oil, and the oil which is extracted from the liver, that is called the liver oil. Both oil having a great importance in medicinal ground, as well as it is very important in different industries. After the extraction of body oil and liver oil, whatever the residual parts remains, that residual part which is also used as a raw material for the preparation of different byproducts, and that byproducts are fish meal, which is used as a food for poultry and cattle. Another byproduct also prepared from the raw material, that is fish guano and manure, which is very useful for the plantation of coconut, coffee and tea. Friends, this fishery is totally restricted on the west coast of India. Beyond the west coast of India, it is found in a very negligible amount on the east coast of India, as well as the central region, southern and central region of the India. Now we will see the classification. The sardine fish, that is Sardinella longicipus, belongs to the class Stelostomi, subclass Actinopterygii, order Clupioparmis, family Clupidae. This Sardinella fish, it comes under the 2 family. First is the Clupidae and second is the Dosumeridae. The Sardinella genus having so far recorded 9 species. The Longicipus is a major species which is contribute 92% in total sardine fish. But the remaining 8%, besides that, Pambretta, Albella, Cirrum and Clupides, these four species and other four species are contributed very negligible. That's why these eight species are referred as a leisure sardine fishery. फक्त सार्डिनेला लॉन्जिसिपसलाच इंडियन ऑइल सार्डाईन किंवा ऑइल सार्डाईन फिशरी म्हणून ओळखलं जातं. ह्या चार फिब्रेटा, अल्बेला, सिरम, क्लुपिडी आणि आणखी चार ज्या स्पेसीज आहेत त्यांचं कॉन्ट्रीब्युशन टोटल सार्डाईन फिशरीमध्ये इतकं निग्लिजिबल आहे, नॉट मोर दॅन 5 to 8%. दॅट्स वाय दीज 8 स्पेसीज आर ऑल्सो रेफर्ड ॲज अ लेझर सार्डाईन फिशरी. Now, let us come to another bit. A distinguishing character. How can we distinguish the fish from the other species? Look at the figure. The body is elongated, dorsal and ventral convex. This is the dorsal and ventral convex. So, snout with this is snout with broad adipose lids, dorsal fin nearer to the head regions or nearer to the caudal fin than to the snout. Caudal fin is well formed, lobes are pointed, and one more important character of the distinct character in sardine fish, that is large two scales are present on the base of the caudal fin. At these regions, these large two scales are present. These scales are called the alar scale. Two large alar scales are present on the base of the caudal fin, and these scales are totally different than the other scales. When you think about the coloration of the body, that is black, bluish green color occurs on the back region. The golden spot, that is, see, this golden spot occurs on the back regions, white color on the belly and pinkish tinge or occurs on the belly region. Some golden spot or greenish spots occurs on the upper gillar region. Such type of the color combinations occur in the sardinella fish. Food and feeding habit. Indian oil sardine or Sardinella longicipus is a surface feeder and it is a plankton feeder fish. The feeding habit of fish have been intensively studied on the west coast of India at various catching centers where the fishery production are usually large. Already I have told that the maximum fishery comes from the west coast of India. That's why there is various catching centers are available on the west coast of India. And food and feeding habit, the study of food and feeding habit of sardine fish is carried on the west coast of India. The study is based on the stomach or gut content analysis. During the analysis, gut and stomach, it is found that is Sardinella changing its feeding habit along with the age. It feeds on both type of the plankton, it phytoplankton and it may be zooplankton. At earlier stage, means up to the 7th stage, it feeds particular type of the microscopic zooplanktons. And after that, it feeds on both type of the plankton, that is a plankton. So in that fishery, particularly sardine fish, that is a fragillaria is a found maximum percentage, and the scientists come to the conclusion that fragillaria is a favorite food atom of the Indian oil sardines. Among the zooplankton, it also feeds on copepods, dinoflagellates, ostracods, larval prawns, and fishes. Friends, this fish is not plankton, even though in the stomach of sardine, these fish and some larvae of annelids also found, in particularly when there is a scarcity of food occurs at the surface. This point I will be clear at the time of shoaling beer of the fish. Now, uh, reproduction. Friends, sexes are separate. In Indian oil sardine, there is a sexual dimorphism character occurs. You can easily distinguish whether it is a male or female. Generally, in fishes, there is a sexual dimorphism not occurs, but in that sardine fish, there is a particular character arbiter, and that character is called the papilla. The papilla is present in male as well as in female, but the position of the papilla is totally deeper, and by this character you can easily identify whether it is a male and female. मेलमध्येही पॅपिला आहे आणि फिमेलमध्येही पॅपिला आहे, पण पॅपिल्याचं स्ट्रक्चर वेगळं आहे आणि पोझिशन वेगळं आहे, त्यामुळं तुम्ही मेल आणि फिमेल इझिली डिस्टिंग्विश करू शकता. मेलमध्ये पॅपिला कसं आहे, मस्क्युलर आहे, तर इट इज सिच्युएटेड इनसाइड द क्लोएकामध्ये आहे. तर वाईल इन फिमेल ते पॅपिला इज मेम्ब्रेनस आणि सिच्युएटेड बिहाइंड द ॲनल ओपनिंग. दॅट्स वाय with this character you can easily identify male and female. But in both sexes, this papilla is clearly visible when the fish grows 140 millimeter in length. ज्यावेळेस माशाची वाढ 140 मिलीमीटर होते, त्यानंतर मात्र हा पॅपिला क्लिअरली दिसतो बॉडीच्या बाहेर, आणि दॅट कॅरेक्टर यू कॅन आयडेंटिफाय वेदर इट इज अ मेल ऑर फिमेल. Size and age at first maturity. On the west coast of India, the oil sardine attain the first maturity at the age of 1 year, or sometimes it may be 1.5 year, when fish measure about 150 millimeter length. Various workers estimated age at first maturity in between 140 to 150 millimeter at various catching centers on west coast India, and this length it may be attained by the end of 1 year, or it may be in 1.5 year. After attaining the maturity, spawning starts. The spawning of mackerel fish is prolonged. Spawning period is prolonged. It is not short spawning period. It spawns several times in several batches. The spawning it generally occurs from June to October, and in this 5 months period, the intensive spawning takes place only 2 to 3 months, when there is a favorable atmosphere, ecological atmosphere occurs in the center. Spawning is totally depend upon the favorable ecological conditions. Unless and until ecological conditions develop inside the water, the fishes do not start their spawning. So, the spawning or discharge of eggs takes place in 3 to 4 batches. It's not continuous breeder. It spawns in batches, and in 2 batches there is one interval of 15 to 2 weeks or 3 weeks maybe. So 3 to 4 batches, whatever the eggs are mature, they are discharged. But Nair worked on this aspect of spawning behavior of sardine fish, and he found that the sardine fish, only spawns only once in lifetimes. फक्त आयुष्यामध्ये तो एकदा स्पॉन करतो. आफ्टर once spawning, the fish become sterile. Sterile म्हणजे that fish unable to produce their gametes. त्याला म्हणतो आपण sterile fish. But Antonio Raja in 1967, he pointed out that the oil sardine, it may be spawned twice before the end of its fishable lifespan. Fishable lifespan means that fish able to produce their gametes. जोपर्यंत त्याची प्रजनन क्षमता असते त्याला आपण फिशेबल लाईफस्पॅन म्हणतो. काही फिश 8 ते 10 वर्ष स्पॉनिंग करतात, 15 वर्ष स्पॉनिंग करतात, काही फिश 2 ते 3 वर्ष करतात. पण हा सार्डाईन फिश हा 1 किंवा 2 वेळेस स्पॉनिंग करतो आयुष्यामध्ये. आफ्टर दॅट इट बिकम इट टोटली स्टराईल. Fecundity, that's after the spawning. How much eggs are laid by the female fish? That is known by fecundity. Fecundity is nothing but it is egg-laying capacity of female fish. The oil sardine is a prolific breeder, and it is estimated to discharge eggs about 70 to 80,000 eggs on an average. Various workers worked on this aspect of fecundity and they estimated figure in between 40,000 to 80,000 eggs. मित्रो 40,000 ते 80,000 एक्स तर डिस्पॅरिटी तफावत फार आहे. ही तफावत कशामुळे? कुणी सांगतं 40,000 आणि कुणी सांगतं 80,000. म्हणजे व्हेरियस वर्कर्स वर्क ऑन दिस आस्पेक्ट अँड ते एस्टिमेटेड द फिगर इन बिटवीन 40,000 टू 80,000. म्हणजे डबलच आहे. त्या पाठीमागचं कारण असं आहे की ऑलरेडी आय हॅव टोल्ड दॅट फिश स्पॉन सेव्हरल टाइम्स इन सेव्हरल बॅचेस अँड स्पॉनिंग इज टोटली डिपेंड अपॉन द इकॉलॉजिकल कंडिशन. फेवरेबल इकॉलॉजिकल कंडिशन जर उपलब्ध झालीच नाही तर फिश ओव्हरीमध्ये जे मॅच्युअर एग्ज झालेले असतात ते ॲब्सॉर्ब करून घेतात आणि ते काही स्पॉनिंग करत नाहीत. मग कधी 2 बॅचेसमध्ये करतात, कधी 1 बॅचमध्ये होतात, कधी 3 बॅचेसमध्ये होतात, पण 100% पूर्ण एग्ज स्पॉनिंग होत नाही. म्हणून ही फेकंडिटी जी दिलेली आहे ते 40 ते 80,000 आपण दिलेली आहे. सो दिस फेकंडिटी जी तफावत आहे 40 ते 80,000 त्याच्या पाठीमागचं कारण आहे. नाऊ कम टू द सेक्स रेशो. द नंबर्स ऑफ फिमेल आर मोर दॅन मेल in total juvenile stage. Early stage, there are juvenile stage, the fish passing through the different stages. First spawn, then fry, then fingerlings, then juveniles, and then adults. These are the life stages of fish. Up to the juvenile stage, it is found that females are more in number than the male. Females are observed twice the number of male. फिमेल मेलपेक्षा डबल हे जेवेनाईल स्टेजपर्यंत आढळतात सेक्शुअल रेशोमध्ये. वाईल द मेल्स आर प्रीडॉमिनंट टू द फिमेल इन स्पेंट स्टेज. स्पेंट स्टेज म्हणजे आफ्टर द स्पॉनिंग इज कॉल्ड द स्पेंट. जनरली फिश आर रिकग्नाइज बाय मॅच्युरिटी स्टेजेस. मॅच्युरिटी स्टेज कोणते? ओव्हरीच्या किंवा टेस्टीच्या. कोणत्या स्टेजेस आहेत? इमॅच्युअर, दुसरं मॅच्युरिंग, तिसरी मॅच्युअर, चौथी स्पेंट फेज. सो स्पेंट फेज इज नथिंग बट दॅट इज आफ्टर द स्पॉनिंग वॉट एवर द कंडिशन ऑफ दॅट फिश दॅट इज कॉल्ड द स्पेंट फिश. सो आफ्टर द स्पेंट फिश द सेक्स रेशो इज अ टोटली अपोजिट टू द प्रिवियस. म्हणजे स्पेंट फिशमध्ये तुम्हाला मेल डॉमिनंट दॅन द फिमेल. वाय? बिकॉज during the spawning or after the spawning there is a great mortality occurs inside the female fish. That's why male become more in number than the female. Juveniles पर्यंत फिमेलची संख्या जास्त आहे, पण after the spawning in spent phase that males are more than the females. Age and growth studies on the basis of length frequency data, Hornell and Naidu in 1924 and Chidambaram in 1950 estimated that age of Sardine. It gives different figures. Hornell and Naidu estimated figure that is the fish can grow 150 to 170 millimeter in 1 year and 190 millimeter in 2 years. But Chidambaram found another figures. He found that fish only attains 100 millimeter length in 1 year. It attains 145 millimeter by the end of second year. It attains the length 183 millimeter by the end of third year and 205 meter by the end of fourth year. That figure is given by Chidambaram is very less as compared to the Hornell and Naidu. What is the reason behind that? I have already told that the fish spawns several batches, and during the spawning, if there is a food material available abundantly, favorite food material abundantly, particularly planktons are abundantly, then fish growth attains maximum. And even though one thing is remember that mackerel fish and sardine fish both are competent to each other at the feeding grounds. If mackerel fish spawns earlier than the sardine fish, they got maximum food material, plankton material, and they grow very fast as compared to the sardine fish. That's why if there is a food material is not abundantly found at the surface level or inside the water, at that time that the growth rate it may be stunted or decreased. That's why that's why Chidambaram the given figure 100 millimeter in 1 year, 145 in second year, 183 in third year, 205 in a fourth year. That's why this figure which is totally depend on the availability of the food material and ecological condition of water. शोलिंग बीवर मित्रो शोलिंग म्हणजे काय, शोल म्हणजे काय, हे गेल्या मॅक्रो फिशरीमध्ये सांगितलं आहे आणि परत मी इथे सांगतो. शोल इज नथिंग बट ए ग्रुप ऑफ लार्ज नंबर ऑफ सेम स्पीसीज. Shoal is defined as a group of large number of fish of same species of similar size and age and moving at almost in the same speed. Almost in a same speed, that is called the shoaling beaver. Shoal. All sardine exhibit different pattern of shoaling beavers during the migration. Generally, the fish migrated 1,000 kilometers in water or within the sea for the spawning purpose. And during the migration, it exhibits different patterns of shoals. And there are 7 types of shoals are exhibited by the sardine fish. And these are 7: flipping, pattering, rippling, colored, luminescent, bubbling, and odoriferous. Out of these 7 patterns, first 5 patterns are occurs at the surface level of water, and this 6th and 7th, the last 2 patterns occurs at the bottom level of the water. मित्रों, मी तुम्हाला पहिल्यांदा सांगितलं आहे की ही सरफेस फिशरी आहे, पिलॅजिक फिशरी. पिलॅजिक म्हणजे सरफेस लेवलला आढळणारी फिशरी आहे. मग त्यांचं शोलिंग बिहेवियर हे सरफेस लेवलला आढळतं हे साहजिक आहे. हे पहिले 5च्या 5 पॅटर्न पहिले जे तुम्हाला सरफेस लेवलला दिसून येतात, पण शेवटचे 2 पॅटर्न मी तुम्हाला सांगितलं की बॉटम लेवलला आढळतं. का? आता फिशरीज पिलॅजिक फिशरी आहे, सरफेस लेवलला आढळणार आहे, तर मग 2 पॅटर्न कुठे असतात? त्याच्या पाठीमागचं कारण असं आहे की ॲट द टाईम ऑफ पर्टिक्युलर वेन absence of food material, which food material planktons are not available in abundant quantity, or sometimes it is absent at the surface level. That time, for the time being, that fish feeds at the bottom level, and at the bottom level it feeds on annelid larvae, the another eggs of fishes. म्हणून तिचं सुरुवातीला फूडमध्ये सांगितलं, फूड अँड फीडिंग हॅबिटमध्ये सांगितलं होतं की एग्स त्याच्या पोटामध्ये आढळले. ॲनालिसिस करत असताना, स्टमक ॲनालिसिस करत असताना त्याच्या पाठीमागचं कारण काय, समटाईम दॅट फिशेस फीड्स ॲट द बॉटम लेवल ॲट द शोअर लाईन, अँड दॅट टाईम the bubbles are created. At the time of feeding, the bubbles म्हणजे बुडबुडे तयार होतात, and that बुडबुडे the series of bubbles rise to the surface level. पाण्यावर असे येतात, खाली बॉटमपासून वर येतात. सिरीज ऑफ बबल्स तुम्हाला दिसतात, अँड आफ्टर दॅट बबल्स गेट ब्रस्ट. बबल्स फुटतात आणि त्याच्यामधून पर्टिक्युलर वास येतो, स्मेल. ओडर म्हणजे स्मेल. द पर्टिक्युलर स्पीशीज स्मेल कम्स आउटसाइड फ्रॉम द सिरीज ऑफ बबल्स. दॅट्स वाय दिस signals it gives the indication presence of shoals of a sardine fish. For the identification of shoals from long distance, these 2 characters, bubbling and odoriferous, are very useful for the identification of the shoals. So such type of the shoaling bears occurs in the fish body. The flipping means nothing but at the time of migration the particular sounds are created by the fishes or shoal, that is the flipping. The pattering create different patterns inside the water. It may be long, it may be rectangular, or it may be another. So different patterns are created during the migration. Third is rippling. During the migration, it gives a jerk to the body, and that's why the ripples are created inside the water. Ripples म्हणजे लाटा. बॉडीला जर्क दिल्यामुळे स्विमिंग करत असताना त्या लाटा तयार होतात, आणि दॅट रिपलिंग इट इंडिकेट्स large ripples are developed on the surface of water, and that indicate the shoal of a sardine fish. Colored, that is bluish color occurs on the body, bluish green color, and from long distance, that is a bluish or greenish color occurs from long distance, and that you can identify the shoal of a sardine. Luminescent, particularly it is at night time. त्या फिशला चकाकी आहे, शायनिंग आहे, आणि त्या शायनिंग रात्रीच्या चंद्राच्या प्रकाशामध्ये लुमिनेशन दिसते, चकाकी दिसते. त्यामुळे हे सगळ्या पॅटर्नमधून तुम्हाला एक्सपर्टला ह्या शोल लक्षात येतो, हा साडाईंचा शोल आहे तो. नाऊ फिशरी. Already I have told that fishery is totally restricted on the west coast of India. Very few fishery is occurs on east coast of India, central east coast of India particularly. The maximum fishery contributed to west coast of India. That fishery does not exist beyond the west coast of India. Very few numbers of sardine species found in the Indo-Pacific region and east coast of India. When you see the contribution of sardine fish state-wise in last 2 decades, you will find that लास्ट 2 decades म्हणजे 2 दशकामध्ये, गेल्या 20 वर्षामध्ये जर हे प्रोडक्शन जर पाहिलं तर ह्या 2 स्टेटमध्ये कोणतं केरला अँड कर्नाटका विच इज कॉन्ट्रीब्यूट मॅक्झिमम पर्सेंटेज. Kerala contribute 80% of the total sardine fishery. Karnataka contribute 18% of the total sardine fishery. So these 2 states together contribute 98% of the total catch. जितके काही sardine fishery आपल्याला उपलब्ध होते, 1/3 ऑफ द टोटल आपण ज्यावेळेस म्हणतो की 1/3 जी जितकी काही फिशरी ती त्याच्यात 1/3 पार्ट एक केवळ आणि केवळ साडाईन फिशरीज. त्याच्यामुळे ही इम्पॉर्टंट लार्ज फिशरी आहे. आणि याच्यामध्ये हे 2 स्टेट आहेत, केरला आणि कर्नाटका. या 2 स्टेटमध्ये 98% साडाईन फिशरी या 2 स्टेटमधून येते. तर रिमेनिंग 2 to 4% remaining 2% contributed by the Maharashtra, Karnataka and Goa. So in Kerala and Karnataka, what type of the fishing operation goes on, and which types of crafts are carried, or in which months there is a fishing done in 2 states here. In Kerala, generally or regular fishery starts from July and extends up to the March. But desultory fishery starts. Desultory म्हणजे दिशाहीन fishery starts with the pre-monsoon in late May or June. Generally, the period is a ban for fishing. But poor or low income fishermen, they start their fishing earlier in the month of May or in the month of July. Actually, I have told that the spawning period is a June, July or in monsoon period. So in month of April, May, this is totally banned for the fishing. But desultory fishing also occurs in Kerala. But regular fishing starts from July and extends from the March. While in Karnataka, fishing occurs between October and January. And Maharashtra, it is starts before the Diwali, that is in the month of October and December. Karnataka and Kerala, the fishing carried by Rampani net. Already the explanation of Rampani net I have given very detailed in the previous fishery. So Rampani net is the excellent net for the catching the pelagic fishery, mackerel as well as the sardine fish. What type of the crafts and gears are used for the fishing this fishery? Various types of crafts and gears used in 2 states. In Kerala, dugout canoes, bigger boat Odam and smaller boat Vanchi are commonly used for operating the large and small nets. The bigger boat Odam is a very large boat, and smaller boat is Vanchi is also used for the trip net and gill nets. And boat seine is a very large net, and it is operated by the help of the boat Odam. While in Karnataka, there are 2 boats are used, outrigger boat and second is a dugout canais boat. The outrigger boat is very large, uh, and dugout canoe is also somewhat not large, but that is not small also. It is a medium type of boat. The net which is used in Kerala, that is three types: a boatswain net, gill net, and cast nets. The gill nets and cast nets are very small nets. Boatswain is very large net. For operating the boatswain nets, the outrigger boat is used. Dugout canoe is used and oda boat. While in Karnataka, there is only shore seeing net as and cast net are used. Shore seeing net is a very big net. For operating the big net is the outrigger boat is used, and cast net is very small nets. The local names of the boat and nets are different in different states. Generally, that net or boat are known by the local names. But among that, for the particular sardine fishery, the rampani and one more net, that's the paperXII net, are very efficient net for the exploitation, for the catching of the pelagic fishery. It may be sardine or it may be mackerel fishery. Rampani already we have seen in previous fishery. In this fishery, paperXII net, how it is operated and what type of the net are used for the, this is the paperXII net. It is also one of the huge net as like the mackerel, but it is not huge as like the mackerel. It is somewhat smaller than the rampani net. paperXII net, it is CS is huge net having a float line, then purse line, that is purse rings are, these are purse rings are occurs. This is a foot rope and head rope. Head rope is attached to the floats, float is attached with the sinkers, already you know that. And the one unit is having a one small skiff boat and large mechanized boats and one huge net. So, and there are 20 to 24 fishermen are required. So there is a one unit of paperXII net having one skiff, small boat, one large mechanized boat, 20 to 24 fishermen, and is a one huge net. So this is one unit. So this net, paperXII net, first time introduced in 1975 in Dakshin, Canada, for the exploitation or the catching of pelagic fish or surface fishes. After 4 years, that is in 1979, the number of paperXII increases up to the 300. 1975ला पहिल्यांदा ही नेट ऑपरेट केल्यानंतर आफ्टर दॅट फाउंड इफिशियन्सी of that net, the number of paperXII gradually increase, and within 4 years the number goes 300s. That is huge net. Is made up of hemp. Hemp म्हणजे ताग, सुतळी, पोत्याचा बारदाना, त्याचं तागाचं तयार करतात. तसं ही नेटसुद्धा सुरुवातीला इट इज मेड अप ऑफ is a hemp, and after that this net is fabricated, or nowadays this net is fabricated by the nylon, synthetic fiber, because nylon is a durable, टिकाऊ, मजबूत आहे. त्याच्यामुळं आता ह्या नेट कशामुळे तयार होतात, नायलॉन किंवा सिंथेटिक फायबरनं तयार केलं जातं. तर लेंथ ऑफ नेट इज 450 मीटर. दिस लेंथ ऑफ द नेट इज 450 मीटर, म्हणजे you can imagine near about half kilometer, 450 meter, and height of the or width of the meter net is 40 to 45 meter. Just you can imagine what type of what size of the nets. Such huge net are operated by the large boat, that is called the mechanized boats. That mechanized boat particularly having 80 to 180 ते 120 हॉर्स पॉवर इंजिन त्याला जोडलेलं आहे, आणि या ऑपरेट करणारा त्याला ह्या बोटीवर 20 ते 24 फिशरमन्स असतात आणि ह्याच बोटीला दुसरी छोटी बोट जोडलेली असते, टाय करून अखंड बांधलेली असते, त्याला आपण स्कीप बोट. ऑन दॅट स्कीप बोट देर इज 1 or 2 फिशरमन्स आर present for rowing the boats. Initially, the boat is tied with main boat, tied with the main. The length of the boat is near about 14 to 15 feet, 14 ते 15 फूट याची लांबी असते. पुढे मोठी ह्यूज बोट आहे आणि या ह्यूज बोटमध्ये हा लार्ज नेट आर लोडेड. So, what type of the operation of paperXII net? paperXII म्हणजे आपल्याचं ऑपरेशन पर्ससारखं आहे. पर्स, लेडीज पर्स असते ना, त्या पद्धतीनं आहे. म्हणून इथे ह्या पर्स लाईन आहेत आणि ह्या पर्स लाईनमध्ये ह्या रोप आहे, दोर आहे. ह्या दोर ओढल्यानंतर त्याचं हे दोन्ही तोंड बंद होतं. पर्ससारखं सेम पार्ट ऑफ पर्ससारखं आहे. सो सेम ऑफ द बोट नेट इज अ पर्स लाईक, दॅट्स वाय इट इज कॉल्ड द पर्स. And it is operated as so as the mouth of the purse get opened or closed by using the such type of the rope, that is purse line or purse ring. ह्या पद्धतीने होतं, त्याच्यामुळे रमतं. सो इट इज अ CS. Now just one another figure I will tell you. CS. Here. This is a operation of a Ramapani net, sorry, paperXII nets. So, at the beginning, this small skip boat, it is joined with the main boat. सुरुवातीला ह्या मेन बोटलाच ही स्कीप अटॅच केलेली असते अँड इट प्रोसीड इनसाइड द वॉटर नियर अबाउट दॅट इज 25 kilometer, 25 meters, not 25 meters, near about it go enter into the boat is proceed inside the water, it may 4 to 5 kilometers or it even the more kilometers. Inshore water, the fishing operation carried inshore waters. ही बोट, मेन बोट आणि स्कीपला घेऊन इनशोर वाटर जाते फॉर सायटिंग द शोल, for the searching a shoal or sighting the shoals. After shoal are sighted, that small boat are untied with from the main boats. On that convict there is a 2 fishermen are present. One end of the net handed over to the skip fishermen, and that net is paid in semicircular fashions around the shoal of fishes and bring close to the skipper boats. So this boat is finally, the net is paid in semicircular fashions. मित्र, हे सगळं ऑपरेशन 3 ते 5 मिनिटामध्ये होतं. ज्यावेळेस शोध साईट जे एक्सपर्ट फिशरमनला जो शोध दिसला की त्यावेळेस काय करतात की ह्यात जी छोटी जी बोट आहे, स्कीप म्हणतो त्याला, स्कीपमध्ये 2 फिशरमन असतात. एक नेटचं टोक ह्या फिशरमनच्या हातात दिलं जातं आणि ही बोट स्पीड घेते. ही काही मेकॅनाइज्ड बोट आहे. ह्या मेकॅनाइज्ड बोटनं त्या जितके काही फिशेस दिसतात त्या फिशच्या कंप्लीट बाजूने हे ती नेट असं अंतरली जाते, पसरली जाते आणि ती नेट त्याचं दुसरं नेट आपल्या ह्याच बोटवरच्या माणसाकडे असतं आणि त्यानंतर ती हळूहळू नेट ही ओढली जाते कुठे, ह्या बोटीकडे. आणि त्यावेळेस असे लक्षात येईल की ही सगळी नेट जी आहे ती ह्या एवढ्या एरियामध्ये जितके काही फिशेस आहेत त्याच्यामध्ये अडकले जातात आणि हे सगळी नेट हे 20 ते 24 फिशरमध्ये जे आहेत त्यांच्या साहाय्याने किंवा nowadays there is machines are available. By the help of the machine, the net is pulled in the boat and they found that thousands of fishes in that boat. That's why the efficiency of the net is very good, as like the mackerel fish. That's why both nets, Rampani as well as this net is very useful net for the catching the पिलाजिक फिशेस. अशा प्रकारे पर्सियन मीटचं ऑपरेशन चालतं. इथं ही फिशरी इथे संपलेली आहे. त्यानंतर याच्याबद्दल काही संशय असतील, संभ्रम असेल तर तुम्ही मला व्हॉट्सॲपवर, कारण हे 40 मिनटं झालेत आता आपल्याला, मग मी फास्ट घेतलेलं आहे थोडं, आणि आपल्याला काय याच्यामध्ये अडचण असेल तर तुम्ही मला परत नोट्स याच्यावरती विचारू शकता. थँक्यू.